Hi guys, so today is Wednesday, May 1st, and I was watching testimony do Barr. I love great. No guys, seriously, I'm on full rooftop New York City. But can you imagine? Can you believe it? I'm sorry I didn't realize I brought this iPad. It's not the phone. So it doesn't have, I can't do it live basically because there's no connection other than Wi-Fi. So oh my god, how terrible is this whole thing? Can you believe how awful? It's just awful. I was watching it, I just can't watch it because it's such a joke, you know, it's such a joke. So here I am, I'm going to do it. So this is the thing guys I want to do, okay? So see if I can make it flat in a way, okay? Oh, that's right. You know what? I have to do it closely because I don't have a microphone, so I have to be close by in order to capture this. So okay, so this is the question, guys. So I was watching it and it was so awful. The whole thing, everything about it was awful. I didn't even make the notes of the questions I want to ask because this is the gist of the questions, guys. Okay, so far from what I have watched, I actually think the Republicans are winning in terms of talking points, and it's almost as if the Democrats are too careful or they should just go out and call it out, okay? Just say, have the same level of talking points that the Republicans have, but I guess they don't have. That's not how they operate, okay? So that's a problem, I think. And then the other thing is the amount of cynicism and bullshit that all these people, guys, they have to go to prison, okay? To me, it's like so disgusting that they get away with this shit, okay? It's not acceptable. So here's what I want to know. I have car phones. No, it's like I can't even, I'm just beyond even getting angry. And in a way, I was like, I'm kind of glad that we were not doing it live, even though I had planned to do it live just now. But I didn't bring phone. Is that I'm just like, I just can't. Anyway, so the questions. I think, you know, and guys, you know, not to say that this is not going to turn around, but I think it's pretty obvious that the Republicans are kind of winning right now, for at least the parts that I saw, because they're pushing their talking points and their bullshit about the FBI. Okay, that's part one. Okay, and then part two. The question is Barr gonna pay? Are things gonna turn around when Mueller testifies? What happens? Because I said before, it looks like when Mueller and Rosenstein testify, it's gonna make them look bad, make this whole thing look bad. And the other thing I wanted to say is that the Republicans are so coordinated with their talking points. It's like they have to pay. And this is what I was saying before yesterday, guys. I think Jen was saying, oh, but I was watching I think this woman everybody likes. I'm sure she's great. She's a lawyer. And she had said something about Rubio and she thinks the Republicans know. And I'm like, no, because the Republicans are gone. They're done. They don't have any interest in the rule of law and truth or anything. So I think today, if anybody had any doubts about it, there is today. You know, it's like, oh, they love this country. No, they don't. They want to defend this guy at all costs. Okay, so that's clear. Now, my questions are: is this narrative going to turn around? And are these people? Because guys, to me, this is RICO. This is a group of people trying to obstruct justice and they're bullshitting. But are things going to turn around? And I just want the Democrats to be a little tougher and just look at the Republicans. They're totally fine with lying. Okay, they're totally fine with like talking points. Do a little bit of that. I'm not saying they have to lie, no, but they have to be like, look, you are throwing away the American Constitution. It's just like they have to be more dramatic, because if you're uneducated, you're looking at the tone of the Democrats. It's almost like they're too careful. They have to be a bit more forceful in their language and in their even body language and the way they speak. It's just very upsetting to watch. Okay, so when Ted Cruz was talking just now, I'm like, bitch, I have to go. I cannot take that guy. He's such a bullshitter. Okay, so, but then the question I want to know is that, are these people that are doing this today, are they going to regret it? Are they going to go to jail for it? I'm just like, Deep down, I know it's gonna happen, but it's just, So, okay, so we're gonna start the reading after a rant. Okay, so, okay, so protection coming, a beautiful ray of light coming on top of my head. As I breathe in, it fills my lungs. As I breathe out, create a beautiful circle of light and step into it, and it's perfectly protected. And I ask that the information comes only from the highest sources, and it creates only the good. Okay. So what are we witnessing right now? This Barr hearing. Barr is doing exactly what he was hired for. He's doing exactly what his job entails in terms of being a Trump appointee and a Trump loyalist. He's sticking to the talking points. You have to give it to him. You have to give it to the Republicans in the sense that they understand the power of talking points. Although in this case, obviously, it's all lies. It's all done with the intent to obstruct justice. And make no mistake, he may eventually be charged with obstruction of justice himself down the line, or he may lose. He'll definitely have to leave the Department of Justice. His career is not going to... He's celebrating, he's laughing, he's being cynical right now, but he's not going to get away with this long term, okay? Because I'm seeing this image of him laughing. It was so disgusting when he was laughing when Ted Cruz was talking. It was so infuriating. So, okay, so then I understand. So, okay, so then there he is. And the Republicans, to me, seem so united with their talking points. It seems that they're all very organized, but the Democrats are like, they're doing the right thing. They're questioning, but they're not understanding or not using the power that they have to create their own story. They're kind of letting him dictate the story. Although I understand this is the Senate, so the Senate is Republican, so they have more power. But still, is it possible to counter this? Is there a way to counter this? No, not today. Today it is what it is. In some ways, yes, they have been very careful, very good at pushing their talking points, but you have to remember the talking points they're pushing are lies. They are done with the intent to discredit the Justice Department and to discredit the FBI. Can you imagine? These are people who worked under Barr. You have to remember that Barr actually is meant to be leading them. And imagine if they are watching this and they see that Barr is basically questioning the work they do. It's very demoralizing. But make no mistake, there's people working to bring justice, okay? And all they want to do is to create this illusion, and it's a talking points. It's almost like theater, but they are convincing, they're trying to gaslight the public, they're trying to gaslight the Democrats into giving up, and you can't do that. The one thing that Democrats should learn generally is that there's power in speech, so they have to maximize it, because the old ways don't work in this case, okay? So what happens when Mueller and Rosenstein speak? What happens to the credibility of Barr? It's one word against the other. Barr is at the head of the Justice Department, and Mueller is going to basically say that he lied, that Barr lied, and he's going to look pathetic in front of the public, because it's obvious that Mueller sounds a lot more credible and has a lot more at stake. He has a lot more credibility, and he knows Barr, and he trusts the FBI, and he's going to defend the FBI when he goes up there. Okay. So what about the Republican charade? It was just so upsetting to watch how the Republicans are just out there pushing Trump, and really they don't really care about all the harm they're doing, and all the lying and all the bullshit. What happens? What's going to happen to them? They seem to think they're winning. What's going to happen? The Republicans, you have to remember, it's a RICO GOP situation. They all collectively decided that they're going to push these lies so they can obstruct justice and prevent the truth from coming out. This is not going to last forever. Be warned that they will have to pay the price, even though it seems, when you look at it from the outside, it seems so perfect. It's so well executed, the sense that they all have the propaganda, the lies. But when things start to blow up, it's not going to be smooth. Okay, these people will never be able to run for office again. Many of them may actually spend some time in jail. And that's sad. And this is going to go down in history as a very dark moment of American history, where those people conspired against their own country, against their own citizens. Okay. What should we know about, what do spirits have something to say about the moment that we're living? When watching this, it's just so pathetic. Is this going to change? Are we really going to be able to take these people down and take Trump down? You have to remember that this is stuff of Greek mythology. When humans think they're bigger than gods, when humans think they can control everything, things start to fall apart. The problem with the Republicans is that once the economics of everything they've done starts to hurt the local people, and you have to remember a lot of it is local, then they're not going to be voting for the Republicans. They're going to be very, very angry, and the tone of the country is going to change, because it's going to come from below, because they're saying here, well, okay. So what happened also was that there's some things that Trump did do. He brought into the political conversation parts of America that are not, they're sort of pushed aside or brushed aside, and there's a lot of resentment. So he was able to exploit it, and he lied, even though he spoke to them, and I think I said this before in another reading, he spoke to them and he made them feel validated and heard. He's ultimately working against them. The policies hurt them, and once these policies finally hurt them, then there's going to be a legitimate movement, because what happens is Trump used the emotions they had, the negative emotions, to push them towards him. And once things turn around, it's going to be very difficult for them to ever, at least in their lifetimes, to vote for Trump again, because there's going to be more stuff coming out, but it's that's it. Okay, so tell me about Lindsey Graham again. What happens to Lindsey Graham? Lindsey Graham, he's just so, the problem is that there's moments in people's lives where they have to make difficult choices, and they have to sometimes to compromise, and they regret it. Many people go through it. Even you could have gone through it yourself. But in the case of Lindsey Graham, he knows he's made a serious mistake, and in order for him to mentally compensate for the mistake he's made, he becomes more and more outrageous. So he's thinking, it's almost like his consciousness knows he's done something wrong. Well, his mind knows. So he's constantly being more and more outrageous as a means to kind of just say, oh, it's fine. I know it's sort of like, how do you, because I think the hardest thing in life really is living with yourself, right? So our minds say something like you want to do something and you don't have what you want, or how do you live with the regret? It's a very complicated thing, the mental game, So it's showing here that he's flipped so dramatically because he has to justify essentially, I think, some sort of criminal activity he's done to support the Russians. And even though he knows that what he's doing will hurt people, he does it because it's almost like you go totally you live on the ego end. Okay, so it's sort of like being an addict, or like there's something where your heart and your true self is hollowed out to make room for the ego, and that's the place where they're living. But that is unsustainable, and they're going to have a very hard crash. Okay, so fast forward to let's say 2021, after the elections. What is the rough percentage of the Senate, of the people in the Republicans in the Senate, the percentage they have today versus the percentage they're going to have after the 2020 elections? What is the percentage, and what's going to account for it? Guys, I'm getting this number 81%. So I think if they have 81% of what they have today, they lose the majority. Okay, so I still find it hard to believe. Okay, considering how the possibility the Russians could meddle in the election, considering how much the Russians want the Republicans to keep the Senate, and there is some support in their states. How is that even possible that they're going to lose so many votes? What could happen? What's going to happen until then? Yes, saying the removal, not just removal, Trump leaving, and all the truth about the numbers. You have to remember, this is why talking points are difficult, and this is why you have to get to financial documents, because financial documents are undeniable. And Trump knows it, and this is why he avoided giving out financial information. So, okay. So many of them are going to say goodbye to the Senate. Okay, so I have another question. I have another question. So, I understand now. Okay. Okay, so the question is about the GOP being indicted. Okay, right now we have Barr at the Department of Justice, and clearly he is pro-Trump, and he does not want to hurt the GOP in any way. I have seen that people in the GOP are going to go down, but right now, as things stand, it's obvious that nothing is going to happen to the Republicans as long as Barr is there, as long as Trump is president. So I have seen that other stuff happening, but how could this happen considering how bad things are? You know, how is this going to happen? Bombshells are coming. Yeah, bombshells are coming. He needs to be arrested. He's going to go down, and people are going to start abandoning the ship, and they're going to have to give each other out. Okay, so that's what it shows, guys. There's going to be more bombshells. It's very likely that Trump will leave, and once that happens, then stuff starts coming out. I just feel like in the end they're going to start throwing each other under the boat. And I get this image, guys, saying, I know it's hard for you to see. I know you see it, and I know at the same time that it's hard for you to comprehend how it's going to come about, because the situation as it stands, it's impossible. But it's so showing me, guys, that this is written. It's like almost like a book, like a Bible or something, where it's written. This is going to happen. It's written in the history of the world. I don't know how to explain it. It's like a book where this is going to happen. It's written in its destiny. It's fixed. There are some things in life that are about free will, and others are written. And this is one of the things that are written. They cannot change it. It's in the history of the U.S. It's in the history of the world. So, okay. So any point of encouragement for what happened? Anything you want to say to us? Don't worry. It's gonna work itself out. And in some ways, I know it sounds awful to say it, but it's a good thing that it happened so publicly, because this is a record of how awful they were, and this is not going to be erased. Okay, so this is it. Okay, so yeah, so just keep your eyes on the prize, and keep thinking of the things how you want the U.S. to change once this is over, how you're going to rebuild the institutions, and what or the values are going to matter, because you're going to need that once this is over. It's almost like removing a tooth. You're going to have to either put something else in place, put some sort of implant or fix it or something. You have to remove the rotten before you can put in the clean, the clean sheets or whatever. So this is that, guys. Okay, I'm gonna go back. Who knows, maybe more stuff happened since I stopped watching, but I just felt compelled to do this because it's very upsetting. It's kind of nice to be here, even though it's a horrible grade A. It's kind of nice because I don't have internet. It's just the iPad thing, so I can't watch. It's like I have to take a break. But anyway, so I want to upload it. Okay, all right. And let me know in the comments, if you have more questions about this stuff. I'm gonna upload it and add time stamps. Okay, bye.